Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional. Today, we're going to roll up our sleeves and really try to cut through the dense jungle that is DoorDash's Q2 2025 earnings call. Our mission, like always, is to dig out those golden nuggets, the key insights, maybe some surprising facts, those aha moments, so you can get the real story without having to sift through all that technical jargon yourself. Earnings calls, let's be honest, can be notoriously dry, but we're here to make this one genuinely interesting. We're going to zero in on three crucial areas that I think really define where DoorDash is heading. First, how they're still pushing the boundaries of their core restaurant delivery business, even at this massive scale they're operating at. Second, that rapid expansion sometimes overlooked into exciting new areas like advertising and, well, other retail categories. And then, maybe the most compelling part, how cutting-edge tech, specifically AI and robotics, aren't just buzzwords for them. They seem to be fundamentally reshaping the future of their entire operation.
It's a lot to cover, but yeah, let's explore.
Yeah, and this particular earnings call, it really does offer a fascinating window, doesn't it? Far beyond just the raw financial numbers. What we're actually looking at here is, well, it's like a detailed blueprint of their long-term strategic vision and also the granular execution behind a major, constantly evolving player in this whole local commerce space. It highlights these deeply ingrained themes. Continuous product improvement, for one. Very thoughtful, strategic investment, too often looking years ahead, not just quarter to quarter. And then there's this aggressive yet, pretty calculated market expansion. These are just small quarterly tweaks. They feel like foundational shifts, commitments that are really poised to define the company's trajectory for years to come. So yeah, while the impressive figures are certainly there, the true story, I think, lies in understanding that underlying strategy.
Okay, let's unpack this then. First thing that really leaped out at me from the Q2 2025 call was this acceleration in U.S. marketplace orders. And what makes it particularly fascinating, right, is that this isn't happening when they're small. It's happening even as they operate at this enormous scale, which kind of defies conventional wisdom, you'd think, growth slowing down at that size. So the burning question is, what exactly is fueling this continued and, frankly, a kind of surprising strength in their core restaurant business? What did leadership point to?
Well, it's a great question because, on the surface, it does seem a bit counterintuitive to see acceleration at this scale. Leadership was very clear in emphasizing that these results aren't just from recent short-term stuff. Instead, they see this current performance as really the culmination of strategic work that genuinely began a couple years ago. And that's a critical point, I think. It really underscores this philosophy of long-term investment over, chasing short-term gains that seems foundational for them. Their North Star focus, as they put it, has consistently been on making these fundamental, holistic improvements to the core product. It's not about just tweaking one button. It's comprehensive. It touches several key areas. They've been relentlessly enhancing selection, both the number of stores and the items within those stores, more choice. They've also been working on affordability, making it more accessible, and crucially, rigorously improving delivery quality, timeliness, accuracy, that sort of thing, plus stepping up customer service, especially when things inevitably go wrong. These continuous enhancements, especially around personalization, they're designed to create a more tailored, more intuitive, engaging user experience. Imagine it learning your preferences, suggesting things. It makes the platform stickier, right? More embedded in your routine.
Right. It goes less transactional, more integrated. So it's this deep, sustained effort across the board.
Right.
Playing the long game, like you said. And that persistent focus on the product, it seems to tie directly into the DashPass membership growth and that uptick in order frequency we saw mentioned. How do those two interact?
Oh, they're absolutely inextricably linked. DashPass is positioned as their main loyalty driver, that key subscription. Its value keeps getting boosted both through more benefits, maybe exclusive deals, partner stuff, and those ongoing product improvements we just talked about. What DoorDash is seeing is this really powerful cycle. They're acquiring more new consumers than ever. These new folks are habituating faster, becoming regular users quicker, and a big chunk of them are graduating to DashPass because they see the value, right? It saves them money, improves the experience, and once they're DashPass members, boom, significantly higher order frequency. It's a clear pathway.
So it's not just getting new people, it's getting them hooked faster and deeper.
Exactly. And what's even more compelling, maybe surprising, is that even their older cohorts, customers from 5-6 years ago, are showing increased engagement. That suggests the value isn't just for newcomers, it's enduring. The product keeps getting better even for longtime users. Leadership connects this directly to their mission, solving more and more customer problems. Not just chasing frequency as a metric. The CEO had a funny line, something like, "No customer thinks about DoorDash's order frequency as a metric they care about."
Yeah, fair point.
Right. It's a reminder that the goal is to solve real problems. Hunger, forgotten groceries, whatever. Increased frequency, they explained, becomes geometric because they have multiple winning strategies hitting different people and different needs. It makes the platform more essential for more things. It's like that flywheel effect, you know? Better experience draws users, they order more, attracts merchants, improves selection, and round it goes, faster and faster.
That's a really profound point, focusing on the problem solved, not just the metric itself. It reframes everything. So building on that, what's the fundamental philosophy then?
Right.
What allows this continuous growth, this relentless improvement, especially at their massive scale? They just never seem satisfied.
You've nailed it. That is the core of their operational philosophy.
Right.
It's relentless, perpetual improvement. The CEO's perspective was telling and pretty ambitious. He basically said the 2025 product is better than 2024 and 2026 will be better than 2025, no question. This mindset, this almost obsessive enhancement is what they believe fuels that long-term growth. And they argue that despite how big they seem, the overall market runway is still very, very, very small and early. Think about all the times people eat or buy things locally, globally. They feel they're just scratching the surface, maybe single-digit percentages.
Wow, really, even now?
That's the view. It suggests they see a vastly larger addressable market than most people probably realize. Huge future opportunity. Now, the flip side, or maybe just the reality, is that achieving this kind of improvement at scale takes years to show up in the numbers. So the big investments they're making today aren't for next quarter's results. They're laying groundwork for years down the line. It's a very strategic, patient game, compounding improvements, small daily gains adding up to big advantages over time.
All right, this next area is where DoorDash really seemed to be evolving beyond its original identity.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is where I found some of the most compelling strategic shifts in the call. Beyond restaurants, the momentum in advertising and its expansion into new verticals, grocery, convenience, all that, it's fascinating. Let's start with advertising. Breaking that $1 billion annualized revenue run rate. That's an eye-opener. What's the secret sauce there?
Yeah, the ad business ascent is really noteworthy. That $1 billion run rate is a huge milestone. And what's striking is they believe it's the fastest in history to get there for this type of business, specifically among marketplace businesses. That's not just a new revenue stream, it fundamentally shifts their model, right? Beyond transaction fees to this scalable, high-margin ad play.
Like the big platform giants.
Exactly. Puts them in that league. But their philosophy here is quite specific, quite disciplined, I think. They stress the core focus remains on the best consumer experience and building the most successful marketplace. That's critical because they believe a strong, high-quality marketplace is what enables a successful ad business. It's not separate. They're very disciplined about ad placements, prioritizing high merchant ROA as return on ad spend, meaning they want merchants to see real sales results from their ad dollars. It has to be effective for the merchant.
So it's not just about selling space, it's about selling results.
Precisely. And they also focus on consumer conversion, making sure ads are relevant and lead to purchases, protecting the user experience. It indicates they prioritize market quality over just maximizing ad inventory. They're not just plastering ads everywhere. It's about quality impressions, high intent, not just sheer volume. That builds a healthier ecosystem long term.
Okay, that makes sense. And how does the Symbiosis acquisition fit into this evolving ad strategy? It sounds like more than just buying ad tech. It puts DoorDash in a new kind of role.
That's spot on. Symbiosis, which they recently closed on, plays a really pivotal, innovative role here. They explained that historically, advertisers often wanted to spend more with DoorDash than DoorDash was willing to accept on their own platform.
Because they didn't want to clutter the app.
Exactly. Because of that commitment to the consumer experience, Symbiosis was acquired to address this. The core idea is to let DoorDash act as a best marketer or an agent of choice for merchants and advertisers. This is a potential game changer. It uses DoorDash's know-how, their deep consumer understanding, their rich data, to optimize marketing spend for partners, not just on DoorDash, but even off-platform.
Wow, like helping them with Google Ads or social media?
Potentially, yeah. Imagine them guiding a local restaurant on effective digital campaigns using their unique local demand insights. They frame DoorDash not just as delivery, but as a growth engine or a growth button for merchants, helping them build their own digital powerhouses. It's a much deeper, more collaborative relationship, guiding them on digital marketing, providing tools, expertise, far beyond just facilitating deliveries. It makes them a true strategic partner, a force multiplier for local businesses.
That is fascinating, evolving into an active agent for ad spend, really helping merchants navigate the whole digital world.
Okay, let's pivot then to new verticals. Everything beyond restaurants. Grocery, convenience, maybe even retail categories we don't normally think of. How significant is this segment becoming, and what's really driving that rapid growth?
Oh, the new verticals segment is performing exceptionally well. They clearly see it as a massive growth engine. They called it a really strong quarter, growing much faster than our core restaurant business. That's key. In fact, they specifically said they gained significant market share and expect to be volume share leaders within the next year in these new
Like
categories.
leaders, wow, that's ambitious.
Very ambitious. Suggests they plan to overtake traditional players in those spaces, or at least the delivery aspect of them. And the growth isn't just from one place, it's coming from both new and existing customers. New cohorts ordering from these verticals are bigger than last year, so strong new customer acquisition there. And at the same time, existing cohorts are ordering more often from these categories, hitting all-time high frequency levels. So widening the base and deepening the engagement simultaneously.
Exactly. The drivers, it's their core playbook again. Increased selection, more grocery stores, pharmacies, shops, drastically improved product quality for these verticals, fresh produce, accurate orders, efficient picking, and enhanced affordability, making it competitive with going to the store yourself. A really compelling sign is more DashPass users ordering from these new categories. It was roughly a quarter of users late last year, and that number keeps climbing. They're finding real value in the expanded offerings within their subscription.
Okay, but the question always comes back, especially for investors, to the unit economics. Are these new segments profitable? Or is it just about grabbing market share for now? And how does that tie into the broader strategy, especially with these big acquisitions?
That's the crucial question, right? The financial health. They were clear. Unit economics in new verticals have actually improved year over year. That's positive. They have a significant structural advantage because of their existing massive network of consumers and dashers. Basically, because they already have the infrastructure, the app, payments, logistics, millions of dashers. Adding a new vertical like grocery is efficient. A big chunk of the revenue from those new orders drops straight to the bottom line as profit.
Because the marginal cost is low. They don't need a whole new delivery fleet.
Exactly. High flow through from gross profit to contribution. A large percentage of that new revenue contributes directly to profit. Powerful leverage from the existing platform. Their playbook for these verticals is consistent. Keep improving unit economics through efficiency and scale. Then reinvest those gains back into the business to drive retention and order frequency, which then fuels more scale, more efficiency. It's a cycle. So yes, it requires investment, but the underlying economics seem sound and are improving. It's a robust cycle of growth and reinvestment.
That makes perfect sense, leveraging the existing machine. And this idea of strategic investment leads us right into the acquisitions. Deliveroo is on the horizon. 7Rooms just closed. What do these moves signal about the broader strategy? Where are they aiming?
These acquisitions are really clear signals of their expansive vision for local commerce, way beyond just restaurants. Deliveroo first expected to close Q4, pending regulatory stuff. For international deals like this, their integration philosophy is product first. Build the best product experience in that new market, then focus on improving order rates and unit economics, especially where they see efficiency gaps. Maybe Deliveroo's network has spots where DoorDash tech can cut costs or speed things up. It ties back to maximizing long-term margin dollars, not short-term unit margins.
Meaning they'll accept lower margins per order now for bigger total profit later.
Yeah, that's the idea. Strategic growth over immediate per-order profit, aiming for the largest possible total profit pool over time. Patience for dominance. Now, 7Rooms, which closed mid-June, that's a different but equally strategic dimension. It's their third big B2B product alongside Drive, white label delivery, and storefront restaurant websites. 7Rooms gives merchants sophisticated marketing component and a data analytics component. Helps businesses understand customers in an omni-channel 360 way, tracking delivery orders, reservations, walk-ins, everything.
So connecting the dots between online and offline behavior.
Exactly. The synergy is marrying SevenRoom's top-tier product with DoorDash's know-how and massive data sets. The broader vision, it's ambitious, solving all the different problems for these physical businesses to essentially grow the GDP of the cities they operate in, providing tools for CRM, marketing, data, maybe even staffing eventually, becoming indispensable. And notably, SevenRooms adds revenue, not just gross order volume, GOV. That shows a diversification beyond just transaction fees, building a whole merchant ecosystem.
Okay, so we've got core growth, new vertical expansion, strategic acquisitions. What does this all mean for the operational nuts and bolts? Profitability, take rates, headcount. What's the strategy there?
Operationally and financially, they're pretty open. The net revenue margin, or take rate, the Slice DoorDash keeps expanded in Q2 as expected. Several factors drive this. One, seasonal Dasher costs usually lower in Q2, Q3. Two, those product quality improvements mean fewer credits and refunds, which helps the margin directly. And three, the fast-growing ad business is becoming a bigger piece of the revenue pie, and ads generally have higher margins. Looking ahead, they expect take rates in the second half of the year to be higher than the first half, for the same reasons.
But they're not just optimizing for a specific take rate number.
Correct. They were keen to stress they do not optimizing the business towards a specific take rate. That's crucial. Their focus is on overall profit dollars and maintaining flexible investment. That flexibility lets them jump on opportunities, even if it temporarily dips the take rate percentage. The goal is driving both top-line revenue and bottom-line total profit. They'll adjust the rate as needed for that bigger picture. Total profit dollars matter most.
That flexibility makes sense, lets them chase growth. But what about spending? In a time when many tech firms are trimming headcount, DoorDash seems to be adding strategically. How do they explain that? What's the OpEx approach?
Yeah, their take on operating expenses and headcount is deliberate, reflecting that expansion we talked about. Current OpEx target is roughly 2% of GOV, with long-term goal of getting more leverage, more efficiency there. OpEx growing slower than GOV over time. Philosophically, it's about disciplined investment, especially in product and engineering, where they see high ROI. The results, they argue, are visible. Better retention, higher frequency, improved unit economics across all these businesses. The CEO gave key context on why headcount is growing. 5 years ago, DoorDash was largely one product and operating in one country, U.S. restaurants.
Right, much simpler then.
Much simpler. Today, he sees them as fundamentally 5 businesses. International, new categories, grocery retail, the commerce platform B2B tools, the ad business, and totally new ventures. So headcount growth, especially in product and engineering, is geared towards working on new problems across these diverse, complex lines. It's not just bloating existing teams, it's deploying talent to solve new hard problems in local commerce. A deliberate investment in their diversified future?
Okay, this brings us right to that exciting intersection. Technology and operations. AI is obviously huge everywhere. How specifically is DoorDash using it? What are the implications? And then the hardware side, robotics, drones. Are these moving beyond just cool experiments?
AI is definitely prompting a fundamental rethink of the entire business for them. It offers powerful new ways to attack different problems. They highlighted 3 key areas. First, the consumer product, rethinking search, personalization, ranking. Bringing pragmatic benefits, a smarter, more intuitive platform for users. Finding what you need faster, maybe predicting it. Second, their massive physical world operations. Using AI for efficiency and accuracy in repetitive tasks. Think automatically creating menus, streamlining merchant onboarding, optimizing delivery routes in real time, predicting delays. Higher quality, faster speed, less manual work.
Taking the friction out.
Exactly. And third, maybe surprisingly, organizational productivity. Especially in engineering, helping developers code faster, find bugs quicker, accelerating the whole product cycle. They compared its impact to cloud computing over a decade ago, but now hitting at the functional level across every team, like rebuilding the company from scratch with AI embedded everywhere.
That's a powerful comparison. Suggests a real foundational shift.
Okay, and the hardware, robotics, drones, still seem futuristic to many. Are they getting closer to reality for DoorDash?
Well, they've been studying and working on autonomous delivery for years. Since 2017 for robotics, even longer for drones. Not a new interest. Key learning from robotics, like with their Coco partnership. Successful autonomous delivery means solving the whole end-to-end system, not just the vehicle. Perfect drop-offs are critical. How does the robot navigate the last few feet? Interact with the customer. That's the hard part. They sounded excited, but no big announcements yet.
So the robot itself is just part of the puzzle. A small part, apparently. Same for drone delivery. They noted positive regulatory news in the U.S. catching up to other places. They're working with partners like Google Wing. Again, the challenge is the end-to-end system, the drone itself. Only 20% of the complexity, they said, integrating it into logistics, handling different conditions, seamless customer interaction from the air. That's the bulk of the work. The goal, deliver in ways human drivers could not. Maybe faster to remote areas, maybe super cheap, high-volume deliveries. Hints at big future changes to unit economics. They've been studying this for 8 years, have strong views. Patient but persistent. And finally, they touched on their retail business, called it really exciting, like grocery was back in 2021, just at the beginning. Key learning. Retail delivery is very, very different from food. Non-perishables, massive SKU depth, hundreds of thousands of items, rethinking the whole shopping and checkout experience. Even though they might be a leader in third-party retail delivery now, they admit the product is still a baby. A long, long, long ways to go. Reinforces that theme. Always improving. Customer expectations always rise. A humbling but ambitious take.
Okay, so given all these, frankly, impressive advancements, the growth, the expansion, it's easy to get the impression that everything's smooth sailing, a perfectly tuned machine. But, in any huge, complex operation dealing with the real, messy, physical world, there are always challenges. From the perspective of hearing directly from customers, where does the company still see big room for improvement? Where are the struggles? What did the CEO say about that daily grind?
Yeah, this is where the CEO's perspective was really grounded and pretty refreshing. He directly countered that impressive improvements idea. He mentioned getting several hundred emails a week from all of our audiences, consumers, dashers, merchants. And he said, quite candidly, these emails often suggest the opposite, implying that despite progress, they seem to be falling short in many ways.
Wow, hundreds a week. That's a lot of direct feedback.
Right. He sees it as this daily, humbling reminder of how much work is left. He gave a concrete example. A customer emailing about a driver in the wrong parking lot in an apartment complex caused delays, frustration. He stressed how seemingly small things like that, a wrong turn, a missed detail compound across billions of orders. They become significant, complex challenges impacting satisfaction. It's a constant fight against operational friction.
The tyranny of small errors at massive scale.
Exactly. He said, challenges pop up, especially in new geographies, new categories, adapting to AI, managing complexity like their SaaS businesses. He stressed that many areas are struggling, making every day a daily struggle. The job is just to make an improvement for that day, chipping away. The long-term lesson he's learned over 12 years. Consistent, relentless daily improvements, even tiny ones, lead to systemic progress. And crucially, this process builds a team that can adapt to any new domain. Adaptability is key in a world changing increasingly faster every hour. He concluded there isn't just one area that's harder. Opportunities for improvement are everywhere. A very humbling but also motivating view for a company this size.
That really is a powerful note to end on, this idea that even with staggering growth and innovation, the focus stays on that everyday struggle to just get better for the customer. I can only imagine his inbox each morning. A constant reminder that even a tech giant can get tripped up by misplaced delivery. It really underscores this sheer complexity. So for you, the listener, hopefully this discussion gave you a unique lens into the strategy behind a major platform, from that surprising core acceleration to the big bets on ads and new verticals, the thoughtful use of AI and robotics, and that relentless, almost Sisyphean pursuit of customer satisfaction amidst daily challenges.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating, I think, is how it reveals even the most advanced platforms operate on this principle of perpetual unfinishedness. There's never really a done, which raises a question for all of us, right? In a world where customer expectations just keep rising and tech keeps accelerating, how much more can any product actually improve? What does perfect even look like in such a dynamic landscape? It's kind of a moving target, isn't it?
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.